When you're single, it's tempting to think that if you could just get yourself into a relationship, you would be happy and content and perfectly okay with life again. We think that if a relationship would come along, a loving relationship would come along, that things would just magically fall into place. And finally, that would mean that there was nothing wrong with us, that we were back on track, and that we were worth something again. And that this person was going to answer everything for just being generally happy all the time thanks to that companionship. But the reality is that getting into any relationship doesn't fix anything that's broken inside. This quick fix of jumping into a relationship is what actually masks some of those deeper insecurities that are inside of us. Worries of not being good enough, the yearning for external validation. And instead of actually addressing that, you use the fact that somebody chose to be with you to validate yourself. And that can get you into all kinds of sticky situations later down the line. But here's the trick, because if you can actually acknowledge that that's something that you know you're doing, if you're completely honest with yourself, you take a step back and you go, I know that I'm using the idea of getting into a relationship as something that I know will give me a sense of worth, then you just need to pause. Because if you can pause and acknowledge that, then you can actually start to make a choice, a conscious decision to do the right thing to actually fix that feeling and that insecurity. Rather than jumping into that relationship, you can actually start to work on yourself. Start doing the healing work. Start taking steps towards discovering who it is that you really are. Do all of that personal development work rather than jump into another relationship that's just going to mask it for a few months, probably years, until it all comes back up again. It rears its head and suddenly you have that feeling creeping back in. And take that from somewhere that's been there and done that and then spent her single time working on herself so that she could actually detach from anything that a relationship meant to then actually be ready for a loving relationship in the right kind of way when the time was right and when I was actually ready to do that.